Have you heard? In October 2018, the NPR told us that the unemployment rates are the lowest they've been in 50 years. That's right, 50 years. WTOL Toledo 11 tells us the same thing, as does WTVG 13 in Toledo. So does the Wall Street Journal, so does USA Today. You might as well look at any source you want. But what they don't tell us is the behind the scenes and what unemployment actually means and how people are actually affected by the still looming economic crisis of 2008 and what's been going on since. Now, economic health affects us all, especially as students. We're going to be getting jobs. We're going to want to get jobs once we're out of school, and hopefully those jobs will be good paying enough to have us put at least some food on the table and maybe live somewhat comfortably. Now, I am from a family which has been poverty stricken, and both of my parents lost their jobs in the economic fallout of 2008. We never recovered. We're still living paycheck to paycheck. It's not a pretty situation. So this story impacts me quite deeply. That's why I wanted to research more about it. Now, this speech will inform you more about what unemployment actually means, in addition to what kind of job growth is occurring and what is happening behind the unemployment situation. So, why Northwest Ohio, for example, is not doing so well in addition to other places. So, let's define what unemployment actually means first. So the Bureau of Labor Statistics in October of 2015 defined unemployment as the following: people who are looking for work for at least 4 weeks, um, people who were laid off for a period of time, not fired, that means jobless, different situation entirely, and people who are collecting unemployment benefits for a finite period of time, cannot collect them forever. So people who are collecting disability benefits, people who are disabled or not looking for work, or even students who are occupied with studies, either full-time or part-time, they do not qualify as unemployed because they're not looking for work. So those of us who are looking for cash, but they are not, you're not looking for work, you're not unemployed. Now, a news release on Friday, January 4th, earlier this year, from again the Bureau of Labor Statistics, said that the national rate of unemployment is 3.9 as of December of 2008, and now, or 2018, sorry. Now, Toledo's rate of unemployment is quite higher at 5.1%, also reported by the National Bureau of Labor Statistics in January 2019. So now that we have some of the terms of unemployment and what it actually means, let's go into some of the news coverage. So more jobs doesn't necessarily mean more pay. Many times it means less pay. Eric Moore, who works for the Wall Street Journal, regrets to tell us that while there may be more jobs, many of those jobs are entry-level positions at bare minimum wages, literally minimum wages. As a result, many of those jobs go unfilled. Now, some of the largest job growth are in food or service industries, as reported on Axios.com by Naima Ahmed. So we can see here it's an interactive chart, not really that well. The blue circles indicate jobs that not only were added but also have wage growth. The red circles indicate that the jobs have wage deficit. So the highest one up there, with about a 2 million job growth added since 2009, says that the wages are about $22,000 a year. While that's great for some of us, that is still considered a poverty wage between 150 and 200% for some individuals. So that's my personal knowledge. You're eligible for some financial assistance, like heat or electricity. So those who would potentially apply for those jobs may have been laid off previously, collecting unemployment benefits for some months. Maybe they're jobless now, not considered unemployed anymore because they have been laid off or they have been jobless for a period of time. But many of them were also collecting unemployment benefits for a period of time because of an injury, but they would now collect what is considered Social Security benefits as a spillover effect, as defined by the Social Security Administration in 2012, and also as defined by Brendan Greenlee of the Bloomberg Businessweek in 2016. So the rise of applications was seen quite greatly between the 80s and today. So we can see there's a great rise in the applications for Social Security benefits as a result of injuries and also an aging workforce. So again, that doesn't account for the low, that may account for the low unemployment rates. So anyhow, none of these people albeit jobless, qualify as unemployed. Now that we understand how the media's representation of unemployment rates and the job growth doesn't tell the entire story, let's analyze some of the news reports of it. So, as I said again, with Ohio's unemployment situation, it is a little bit higher than many other parts of the United States. Northwest Ohio isn't doing so well as an area which was classically thought of as a manufacturing sector, industry sector, and all that. So as a result, uh, Evan Coleman of USA Today regrets to inform us that both Lima and Toledo respectively lost their jobs in employment across many fields, including manufacturing and most notably information. Andy Keart's article on the Business Insider also shows that Ohio is struggling pretty much across the board with, again, unemployment being a higher sector there. So while the unemployment rate seems to be low, because the Bureau of Labor Statistics defines such strict criteria for who actually can qualify as an unemployed person, such a small percentage of jobless people actually fit into that picture. It doesn't account for people who are collecting, say, Social Security benefits, people who are in college who are also jobless, or people who are disabled but not collecting Social Security benefits who are jobless, etc., etc. So as we can see from the information that I presented, the unemployment rates don't account for the entire picture and cannot be noted as an overall rate for prosperity. So let's take a little time to review what I mentioned. So people looking for work, so unemployment, so that is people looking for work for a specific period of time, so no longer than 4 weeks. People collecting unemployment benefits are people who have been laid off. I told you also how unemployment was framed, so how it's affecting our area, Northwest Ohio, what kind of job growth is occurring. Again, it's mostly those minimum wage jobs in entry positions, and also about the disconnect. So, how our area has been hit very hard, disproportionately hard by the economic situation, and of course, I affected the parameters of unemployment, how, many jobless people are not considered unemployed. So, next time you hear something like the unemployment rates are the lowest they've been in 50 years, perhaps you can look at that a little bit more critically and understand that it is not actually a good gauge for prosperity.